Big news coming in. We'll get Arunil Sadadekar on the phone line. Big news is that even as the BJP meeting is set to begin shortly at the Taj Hotel in Mumbai, the Chief Minister is sitting and watching what is happening inside the Supreme Court. If today the Supreme Court does not rule in his favor and decides to let the trust vote go on, will Uddhav Thackeray quit today itself? Arunil, what are you learning?
Well, as per my close sources, Padmaja, this is a very crucial development, very crucial piece of information that we are breaking for our viewers. I spoke to somebody who was there in the cabinet as well. The body language also spoke that the CM clearly doesn't have the numbers and he wouldn't be facing that embarrassment inside the assembly as well. If the Honorable Apex Court doesn't give its verdict in the favor of CM Uddhav Thackeray and the Maha Agadi, yes, their eyes are clearly on the verdict from the Apex Court. But if it doesn't come, then as per my sources inform us that the CM may step down because he clearly doesn't have the numbers. The kind of body language that he showcased inside the cabinet meeting as well, when he walked inside the Mantralaya, he was basically was thankful to each and everybody inside the Mantralaya as well. He walked inside with folded hands. When he went inside the cabinet meeting, he thanked each and every cabinet minister, basically saying that they have been really very helpful in the last 2.5 years. He also asked for an apology if there was any mistake that was committed from his end. So it clearly showcases, it basically establishes, and some of the close sources from the other two parties as well, the Congress and the NCP. I just had a word with them. They've been saying this, that the numbers are clearly not in the favor of CM Uddhav Thackeray, and that's why Sharad Pawar has also more or less stayed out of this fight as well. He doesn't want to be part of this losing battle because it seems like Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde clearly have an edge over here, and CM Uddhav Thackeray may not be wanting to face embarrassment inside the assembly, facing a floor test, and he is likely, as per our sources, is expected to step down if the Supreme Court verdict is not in his favor.
Big story that we are breaking right now on Times Now, that Uddhav Thackeray, remember, 2 times earlier that he had decided to quit. Apparently, he was convinced by Sharad Pawar to stick on, but today he is in all likelihood going to put in his papers if the Supreme Court verdict goes against his expectation. Right now, the Shiv Sena has argued against the floor test tomorrow, but if no relief is granted to them from the Supreme Court, sources are telling Arunil that in all likelihood, Uddhav Thackeray is going to resign. Big story right now. Very quickly, let me also get in a legal opinion on this. What happens, Swapnil Kothari, if Uddhav Thackeray steps down today itself? Then will there be a floor test? What happens next?
Well, I don't think then there should be any protest, because if he resigns, then obviously the next party that wants to show to the governor that this is our majority, then I think the protest, if at all, would be a mere formality and cosmetic. Because if the Chief Minister himself resigns, then obviously the Council of Ministers is expunged in that sense, or annulled, as you would call it. So constitutionally, obviously, there is no government. Then the next...
With that breaking news right now, this is big news coming in. The big news is that Uddhav Thackeray, in case you do not have the Supreme Court staying the floor test, could resign. Yes, please go on, Mr. Kothari.
Right. So, Padmaja, it's very simple. Then the floor test will be merely cosmetic, if at all. Because the governor then has an option straight away that, look, Mr. Thackeray has resigned. The current NVA government is no longer in power. So please, Mr. BJP or, Mr. Shinde, can you please come forward and show your numbers? And then I'll bring you in as the next party, because that is what he has to do. He's got 2 options. One is to follow a presidential form of government. That can happen only under Article 356 if there is no other party trying to prove its majority. But that is not the case here. There are other parties already ready. And it's as simple as that. That will be more of a cakewalk. Then there is hardly any excitement there at all in that sense.
I just see the images on your screen right now. This is of Uddhav Thackeray when he was leaving from the meeting at Mantralaya today. The body language where he actually is seemingly bidding goodbye to everyone with folded hands, doing namaste. Is this his swan song? A flurry of decisions taken of renaming. What is it that Uddhav Thackeray said today? Let's quickly, in fact, get you that also. When he said that if I have hurt anyone, I am sorry for that. The comments that were made by Uddhav Thackeray. All right, let's quickly take our viewers through what Mr. Thackeray said today soon after the meeting got over. He said, we have been betrayed by our own. In case it pains me, the fact that people who we considered our own have betrayed us. He also goes on to say, I thank you for your cooperation, and that if I have done anything to hurt anyone, forgive my mistake for the last 2.5 years, if any at all. If I have made any mistake for the last 2.5 years, I am sorry for that. This is huge. This is huge. What do you make of this, Manasvi Thapar? That today, Uddhav Thackeray, in all likelihood, if the Supreme Court says, go ahead with the floor test, could quit, which means it's an admission he doesn't have the numbers.
Let the floor test be there. I think we should not take out any conclusions as of now. Let the floor test be there. If he has to resign, he will resign. If there are no numbers, he cannot be the chief minister. That's very clear. So it's a democratic country. You need to have numbers.
No, but what we are learning is that he will not go in for a floor test.
Maybe if he feels that he does not have the number, and I think by this count of understanding, he would have this clear understanding as of now. So he'll take his call. So I don't think we should be speculating anything. I think in the next few hours, everything would be very clear. The next 24 hours are very crucial for this. So I think I'm not going to get into any kind of speculation.
In fact, not just the next 24 hours, the next few minutes are going to be very important in the next few minutes. And that's what Arunil is saying. The next few minutes, if the Supreme Court says go ahead with the floor test, in all likelihood, Uddhav Thackeray could be putting in his papers. You have this name-changing spree, the Hindutva card being played. You suddenly have Aurangabad replaced by Sambhaji Nagar. You have Osmanabad also renamed. You have Navi Mumbai Airport being renamed. And now after this, you have Uddhav Thackeray keeping a close eye on what happens inside the Supreme Court. Arunil,